This episode of Epic Thoughts is brought to you in part by Streamyard. Yo, you've been talking about doing a podcast forever and you don't know where to start. I get that. Yo, Streamyard is here to help you. Streamyard does everything for you. It sends it to all the places that you want the podcast to go. If you have an RTTP, it'll send it to it. You have a YouTube channel, it'll send it to it. You have a Facebook, it'll send it to it. As a matter of fact, you can even go live on your computer and send it directly to where you need it to go. You can also have audio and video downloads so you can send it to your Spotify page. It does everything for you. It has video assets. You can add videos. You can even add media now. You can add text. You can add scrolling text. You can do so many different things. The list goes on and on and on. StreamYard is here to help you take your podcast to the next level. Hey, here at Epic Thoughts and Heritage Park, we use StreamYard for everything on our podcast. And so, listen, I'm telling you, it's easy to use and it's great to use. So be a part of the team. Join StreamYard today. Click the link in the description and get started. All right? God bless. Ironically, the fewer people you try to impress, the more impressive you become. This is Epic Thought. Welcome on to another episode of Epic Thoughts. Man, we are officially, yesterday was June 2nd, 2025, shout out. And on June 2nd, this is a very important date. And I'm going to tell you why. It's an important date. It is officially the midpoint of the year. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are officially halfway through this year. June 2nd marks half. So we are almost done with 2025. If you are like shocked on how fast this year has been so far, man, can you imagine how quick the rest of the year is going to go? It's going to fly. So shout out, man. Where are you at? Are you good? Are you straight? I hope you're well. I hope you're doing well. I hope this episode finds you in God's perfect peace. I hope this episode finds you in God's strong hand where he's protecting you, he's guiding you, he's leading you, he's blessing you. And I hope that your life is full of meaning and purpose and love. And yeah, man, I pray that that's where you are right now. I hope that you're doing good. Let's get right into it, man. I wanted to do this episode last week. Some things got in the way, so I couldn't do it. So I can do it today. So I'm doubling up on two of those subjects I want to share my heart about. I got an email saying, bro, you don't talk about this? So I'm going to talk about it. And I talked about it once a long time ago, but we'll cover it again. The world of entertainment, man, it's bananas, right? And we talk a lot about films and TV because it's just a passion of mine. And if you can go back in other episodes and see how I feel about that industry. And for me now, it's getting sadder and sadder when you go see the movies and the movies have gotten good, and I'm not going to sit there. I'm not going to be one of those people that talk about like, oh, the woke is getting rid of the movies. There's a lot of non-woke movies that are so good, but because of where we are now in culture with streaming and stuff like that, movies get labeled this term flop. They're flopping now because, like Thunderbolts, right? Thunderbolts, it's considered a huge flop considering they didn't make back their money. I think they need to make 400 something million to make their money back. And I think they're short for like a good 100 million. So because of that, the movie's considered a flop. Now, I saw the movie. I did not consider it a flop. I thought the movie was incredible. I thought it was probably in Phase 5, yes. One of my favorite Marvel films, Phase 5. And I don't know when Phase 5 started. I'm going to venture out to say that Phase 5 started with No Way Home, Spider-Man No Way Home. So I thought No Way Home was great. If we talk about movies after Endgame, I think it's in my top 3 because I did personally like Shang-Chi. I liked No Way Home. A lot of people didn't like No Way Home. I kind of like Thor because it was fun. I know people was too campy, but it was fun. I love Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So there were some hitters in this new Marvel. But it's just, it's film fatigue. And last night I went and I watched Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning, and it wasn't as bad as critics were saying. I'm like, I don't know what people are looking for, anyways. But this isn't about film and TV. This is about music. But I've made my pieces about my statements about what that is. Last week though, American Music Awards. I remember that was my favorite award show growing up. Like I like the glass trophy, the glass pyramid. I thought that thing was dope. And I know all my conspiracy theorists and all my people who are like what's the thing with the triangle that everybody does? You're not saying anything, you're just looking at me. Anyways, that secret society. All my Christians would think there's a secret society. Look at that American Music Award trophy. And American Music Award hasn't been on for years. It's been on hiatus. The Grammys have had some ups and downs. And I remember when we were younger, man, music was such a big thing in our culture that it wasn't just the American Music Awards. It was Billboard. It was the Billboard Awards. It was the Grammys. It was the Soul Train Awards. It was the MTV Video Music Awards. So if you were anybody, you had to clean house on all those nights and all those things. And so, but I remember American Music Awards was one of the biggest ones. It was catching up to the Grammys. It was up there. It was the show that we all watched and then talked about at school the next day. And it aired on CBS last week. It's crazy. This thing aired on TV and no one knew about it. Nobody knew about it. And even me, I didn't find out about it till the day after. And I watched it and I watched a little bit of it. And bro, is it just me? I knew growing up, there's going to be a time, especially for Gen Xers, where we're not going to recognize the people on stage and the people, that they're talking about. That's just comes with age. You're going to run out of people and like, well, who's that? So there's that element. But even outside of that, it was such a snooze fest. Like Jennifer Lopez was hosting. And don't get me wrong, Jennifer Lopez is a national treasure. But it's at the point where like, what is she trying to do? Is she trying too hard now? Is her thing over? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Is she over or whatever? But I just thought that was like, oh, poor J-Lo. She performed and she tried to even be controversial on her performance. She kissed a guy, then kissed a girl. And it was just like, oh, my child. Like, and I'm one, and I'm hopeful that I don't think because you have to be young to make relevant music. I think you can be older and make relevant music. Not, of course you can. But when you're trying to still do shock value, I think there was a moment in my life where I stopped fooling with Madonna because I was like, she's just doing it for shock value, and I was around the time where she kissed Britney Spears at the MTV Video Music Awards. She kissed Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera. And they didn't even get a good shot of it because people wanted to see Justin's reaction more than anything else. So no one ever really saw the kiss. But it was like, you're just doing this for shock. The funny thing about that whole situation was she kissed Britney and then she turned around and kissed Christina. And then Missy Elliott came out dancing like, you ain't gonna kiss me. Oh man, that was great. But she was I felt like she was trying to she was trying to do something. She was trying to get her career back by being, and I think she's done that a lot. And so many other artists have done that, try to be risque to get people to come back to them. And that doesn't seem to be working. But this American Music Awards ran for 2 hours. And do you know how many awards they gave out? They televised. 8. It was literally an award show without awards. It was a award show without awards. It's crazy. Let me get in the middle of the screen. It was an award show without awards. Had 8. And on top of that, when you and another thing that people die for is, to see their favorite celebrities. I have a list of celebrities that did not show to the American Music Awards. This is crazy. Taylor Swift, who didn't even get nominated for any American Music Awards. Billie Eilish, who cleaned up. So the one who was snubbed didn't show up. She got 0 nominations, snubbed, didn't win anything. She didn't show up. Billie Eilish, who got Artist of the Year and like 3 more, didn't show up. Beyonce didn't show up. Now remember, this was like 4 months ago. We were doing the Grammys, and they all were there, and they were all cleaning up. Sabrina Carpenter wasn't there. Kendrick Lamar wasn't there. Chappell Roan was not there. Bad Bunny. Even people who were claiming to be presenters, scheduled to present, did not show up. It was like, and it's almost Ariana Grande wasn't there. Carrie Underwood wasn't there. Dan and Shay were not there. Becky G. And SZA. I think SZA was there. I don't remember SZA being there. I don't know why I say that shit. But it was crazy. Even the performances. And it was crazy because social media was going berserk because people were excited about Blake Shelton performing. Blake Shelton and his wife, Gwen Stefani, they were supposed to perform. And they had pictures of them at the event. They were at the event, yo. There was on social media, have them at the event with the guitar. They walked the red carpet. Like Blake Shelton actually walked the red carpet, but then didn't perform. Like he performed, but they pre-taped his performance. They left, and the performance was taped. It's crazy. Like they literally like did not care to show up. And they said that there's reports that there's certain artists that they kind of begged to come, like Billie Eilish. They begged her, like, please show up, please, we need you there. And she was on tour. She's on a European tour and didn't want to stop. I don't know if this is because the American, which is the Dick Clark Productions. I think American Music Awards is run by the Dick Clark Productions. I don't know if Dick Clark Productions was lazy or late in preparing this thing. There was no marketing because no one knew this thing was happening. And so if we didn't know what was happening, there's a strong sense that the celebrities didn't know this was happening. And it was just chaotic. It was poorly put together. There was more than just Blake's performance was pre-taped. A lot of the performances were pre-taped. There was a lot of people who weren't there to collect their awards. It was been sad. Maybe the stage of that is over. I think with the development of how the music industry has changed, celebrityism has changed. It has completely changed now. It's funny. I was going through Netflix to look for new shows, and I didn't even know that somebody I had been following for years, supporter of Heritage Park, has a television series, right? And I've been talking this guy's hypeness up for years, right? And he started making music with his then girlfriend, now wife, and a school teacher that gave up teaching to do this with him. Her name was Linnell. And his name was Toby. His name was Toby Nwigwe. And I remember listening to Toby years ago. And Toby was a believer. He's still a believer. And he would just make a new song every day. Or was it once a week? He was consistent at some level. It was either every day or once a week. I think it was once a week because every day sounds crazy. And he would just make a new song every week, drop a new song. And he just got better and better and better and better and better. And then he started getting attention. His music videos still haven't changed. They're pretty choreographed. lot of cinematography in it, a lot of art in it, very well formed, well grafted. But his music just got better. His style just got better. And it was like one of those things where he was just, I'm just going to be consistent and I'm just going to do this thing. And it led to, he got to perform. I remember getting, I was like one of the first flood of followers. He'd send music to HP Radio to play on HP Radio. He's just a cool dude. Like, he was really down to earth. He was funny. He still is down to earth. He's still funny. I haven't talked to him in years though. And he was on Shay 45. He was doing the ciphers. He's on Power. He started getting notoriety. He did the Sprite on the BET Music Awards. He did the Sprite cipher. That was a huge deal. Next thing you know, he's consistently at South by Southwest. Next thing you know, Kevin Durant is listening to his music and talking about how much he likes him. Erykah Badu is talking about how much she likes him. It is when Dave Chappelle mentioned that he listens to Toby Nwigwe and he loves Toby Nwigwe stuff, that the kid just blew up. He just blew up, right? And it wasn't long. Like, Toby can do a show now. I don't think he really needed it. That's how quickly it was because of his consistency. He didn't need he didn't need to open for nobody. He could do his own shows. His wife, now his wife, Fat, was the one that was designing all the clothes, designed his whole look, put everything together, choreographed all the music videos. Now it's a phenomenon. Like, going to a Toby Nwigwe show is a phenomenon. It's an experience. Same with Forrest Frank, even though Forrest Frank's come from a place where he had a label first and stuff like that. My point is, the music game has changed so much that the celebrity game has changed. Now, these are people that they're celebrities through social media and being influencers, and now they're gaining this great occult. And because of that, we're watching the American Music Awards, and there's a lot of influencers that are there, and we don't, know who they are, because it's crazy how many people in the world, because if you think about how an influencer can be so influential, but you don't know them, right? Like, Beyonce is a household name. Taylor Swift is a household. Billie Eilish, Sabrina Carpenter, those to an extent are household names when it comes to music. But if I say Kai Cenat or Drewski, like, there's only going to be a collective few that know who those people. But those collective few are enough to make those people viral. So, I know that I was watching, I don't know if I saw Kai Cenat on TV sometime this week. And I thought to myself, there's a lot of people on TV looking at Kai Cenat trying to figure out who he is. Like, is he a rapper? Who? Like, if you ask the average person, not even just white person, just ask the average person, put in front of them Shabuzi, Kai Cenat, and like, if you know one of them, if you know both of them, you know what they look like. But if you ask the average person who thinks they're relevant to pick out the difference between Drewski and Shabuzi, they can't. Right? It's just they know him by look. Oh, I see him in a Sprite commercial. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, it's crazy now. Toby Nwigwe's got a following now. He's got money now. He's got a series on Netflix that he's like. The clip I saw was hilarious. Kev on Stage is another one. These people who just started where they were with what they got with something as simple as holding up a cell phone and putting it in front of their face and just being consistent. Don't matter if it's perfect. I have some friends that always talk to me about doing a podcast, and they always talk to me about getting things started, or I'll invite people to be on my podcast, and they're like, well, what's the script? Give me the script for the podcast. We're just going to go talk. And I know there's some podcasts that have a script, and I'm not saying that we should or should not. I'm just saying sometimes you just got to get over yourself and just get in front, hit record on your phone, and talk to the light. Talk to the light. Or if you're making music, release the music. Just start releasing music. There's so many people out there. And I didn't, we were taught as a young person, I was taught that there's not a lot of resources for people. So you got to beat out everybody in your graduating class and stuff like that. We're finding out more and more, or at least we should be seeing more and more, that that's not the case anymore. There's resources out there for people to win. The question is, are you willing to be consistent enough to do the work to get a piece of that resources? Because at this point, it's not about talent. Like I don't want to put, if you my homie, you know who I'm talking about. But I even mentioned this character out of the list of people I said that didn't attend the AMAs. There's one of those people that, in my mind, has zero talent, like zero talent, and this is a big time star. Zero talent. They have zero. They can't dance, they can't sing, and their biggest run is the fact that they dance and sing. And I don't think they can at all. Like at all. Like their life, if their life depended on it, they ain't doing it. So and she's doing fine, right? She's killing the game. But so talent doesn't mean anything anymore. And that was the other thing. We thought that there's limited resources and then you had to be talented. Or the other thing too, we used to think that you had to know somebody. You apparently don't have to know anybody either. You just got to be known. And in order to be known, you got to be consistent at something, right? If you're like me, my thing is I don't know if I want to be known anymore. I just want to make music and live off of it. But unfortunately, as a business owner, or I want to make my films and live off it, but you got to be known to make those things. And so that's kind of the catch-22. But it's now about that. And if you really look at it, man, the entertainment world is falling apart. Like, they're greenlighting so many television shows right now. It's crazy. It's nuts. Music has changed so much. We made a deal here at HP yesterday that was like a changed the second quarter for us because of how the changing scape of the music industry. And it's flipping over his head. And I think with the whole, like, for example, the whole Diddy thing, I don't know if you're paying attention to this trial. This trial is ridiculous. Like, up until this last few days, up until what's her name? I don't know if you're following it, but up until after the Kid Cudi testimony, hold on, what was her name? I wrote her name down because I was like, I gotta talk about this Epic Thoughts. After Capricorn Clark, I was like, yo, this might be a wrap for Diddy. I honestly, going into the Diddy trial, I didn't think he was going to get guilty. I didn't think they were going to find him guilty. And they're still in the middle of it. Like, prosecution is still making their case. Because there a lot of the stuff I was like, but that's not racketeering. Like, Cassie Ventura, her thing that she was talking about, it wasn't racketeering, depending on the jury, I can see how a jury can like fold and be like, well, it's not necessarily this, but it could be this. It was almost like they were pinning Sean Combs as a bad guy. Sure. As an evil person. Yeah. As a criminal, as a racketeering, as like, remember, the charges is what you got to prove. You just don't go to court and just prove he's a bad guy. You got to prove like this dude coerced people to do criminal acts. That's racketeering. Coercing people to do criminal acts. You got to prove that he was sex trafficking, like not paying somebody off for coming to do a freak off. He was sex trafficking people. Like there's things you have to approve in the court of law. And, they were doing a lot of character destroying on him. And I'm not saying that was right or wrong or that he didn't do it at all. I'm just saying this is the burden of proof is on the state. In this case, the government, because this is a federal crime. This is crazy. But Capricorn Clark, she showed up on the stand, and some of the things she shared, I'm looking at some of the things she shared now, was like, again, some of it is toxic work environment, absolutely. Like, which is interesting because I don't know if you're watching it, but I'll share a little detail. Capricorn Clark came from Suge Knight. Like, she was working Death Row and stops working for Death Row and comes over to Bad Boy. That's crazy to think that she had a more dangerous experience at Bad Boy than she did at Death Row. I think from what we know of Death Row, you would have a much horrific experience at Death Row than you would ever have at Bad Boy. That's how crazy this story is to me, because I'm you know, as much as me being from California, I didn't really fool with Puff that way. I'm sorry, I said Puff. Kids don't know what that means. I literally was in my youth group and I said Puff like 9 times, and one kid raised their hand like, "Who's Puff?" And I was like, "Oh, it's Diddy." That's how old we are, guys. So, anyways, I never really fooled with Diddy like that. I never thought Diddy was like, we all kind of felt the same way. Like when Diddy rap, man, who's hot, who's not? Tell me who rock, who sell out in stores. Oh, wait, that's not even Diddy, that was Mace. On the D to the V to the PDY. Those ever see me die than to see me fly. I call all the shots. Like, it was, he never killed a verse, right? His artists were always the best people on his own verses, on his own songs. Give anything to hear half your breath. I know you're still living the life after death. He wasn't a great rapper. Anyways, but I would never have thought in a million years that for someone to say, yo, my experience at Death Row couldn't pale to comparison my experiences at Bad Boy. So first day, she said her first day working for Bad Boy, Diddy threatened to kill her. First thing he said to her was like, you're from Death Row. You're not here to, like, as a spy, right? Because if you were, I'd have to kill you. That's according to what she said. That's crazy. That's your first day that Sean Combs, Diddy, threatened to kill you your first day. I wouldn't go back. But I guess that's me. She was accused of stealing jewelry. And to find out if she was stealing the jewelry, they locked her in a room for 5 days. They locked her in an office for 5 days, forcing her to take 5 lie detector tests. Okay. One day while she was working, Diddy kidnapped her and told her, come on, we got to go kill Kid Cudi. That's racketeering. That's you can literally go, oh, by letter. That could be racketeering. And that's what she said he did. And she said that she saw him pull out a gun and said, let's go. We got to go kill Kid Cudi. And during all this stuff, but here's the thing that always cracks me up. It was, and maybe it's just because I'm not familiar with abuse in that sense. And I've studied it. I've seen it happen. A little bit of Stockholm syndrome. After all of these things that she experienced, she was forced to go to Kid Cudi's house and all this other stuff because they were going to kill him. All this nonsense that these people go through, even Cassie to a point, they felt an allegiance to come back to Diddy. Like Cassie wouldn't leave Diddy. There was a time where Capricorn Clark was suspended. And she pleaded with Diddy to come back. As much as she hated her job, she pleaded to come back because she didn't want him to be alone. Like, that's kind of, it's sad and it's chaotic that there's people out there who struggle to get away from people who are abusing them. It's like Stockholm syndrome, right? Like, the funniest thing I remember thinking about was watching Beauty and the Beast. And they're singing, there's something sweet and almost kind. They're playing. And I'm like thinking to myself, she's still his prisoner, right? I remember thinking, like, Belle is still his prisoner, right? Is she falling in love with him? This is weird. They're having a snowball fight. Like, you can't kidnap me, and just because the season change, we go out there and have a snowball fight. Like, yo, the moment I'm gonna hit him with a snowball and I'm take off running, he'd probably still catch me. But I'm just saying, like, I swear there's something there that wasn't there before. Like, you really think about it, Beauty and the Beast is a horrible story. Horrible story. I'm gonna kidnap your father. He's sick. Please let my father go. No, he's my prisoner. What did he do? He looked at me. Oh, can you please let him go? No. Take my place then. Fine, you can take his place. Go home, man. You're gonna be my captive forever. But I'll put you in the East Wing. Don't touch the dying rose on it. Like, it's so weird. It's just it's Stockholm syndrome. It's Stockholm. So I felt like when I read that testimony, I was like, oh, that's kind of racketeering. Then they talked about the Kid Cudi break-in, the LA officer that investigated the Kid Cudi break-in. He didn't see anything. But the California Fire Patrol officer found that Kid Cudi's vehicle was destroyed in a fire. He's saying that, in his opinion, it was arson, and that the DNA they collected was a female DNA. They never told us if it was Capricorns or not. And then it's just crazy stuff, right? And then they brought in the lady named Mia, who had so much to say that within the first week of working for Diddy, she was molested by him. So they have enough to put this guy away. My point is, man, we I don't know if we entrusted it or we just allowed it, which I feel like allowing is probably the better word to use. We let people create this avenue of entertainment and we just accept it. And, behind the scenes, they're worse than us in battles and things that they need to probably go get somebody talking to. Like, we knew Suge was crazy. We knew Suge was crazy. But when you hear these stories of, and then somebody mentioned something to me like, man, somebody had to develop Diddy. Diddy just didn't walk in the room and was this horrible. Somebody encouraged this lifestyle, and he did hang out with Epstein. He did hang out a lot with Weinstein. He was a part of that. He was one of the first Black CEO figures in the entertainment realm to really break that glass ceiling. Like, you can honestly say, other than like Quincy Jones and Berry Gordy, like it's Diddy, right? So that's the impact he had on entertainment as it is. It's just crazy what we have come through that, and to know. And even now we're hearing reports of Smokey Robinson doing crazy stuff. This was wild. And so and music wasn't music unless it come through them. And so, but now it's getting to the point where the people get to make it. I think next on the chopping block might be Spotify. Like, Spotify, maybe next on the chopping block. Think about Spotify. Spotify is a system that it's a system that only works if we feed it. Spotify in itself is not a record label. Spotify in itself does not make music. So if we, as the artists, who are getting a third of a penny, like, people understand, the artist who gets, when you play an artist music on Spotify, they get a third of a penny for every song that's streamed. So even when you see these numbers and say, oh, this song had 5 million streams. Yeah, times that by 0.003. And now I'll tell you how much they made off of that. Because that's the standard pay. And it's for everyone, like Taylor Swift or Ramon. We both get paid the same. But here it is. Spotify don't make no music. So us as the artists, we're creating the thing that Spotify needs to live. But yet at the same time, the people are not eating off of their art. So they have to do other things. That's why they're sitting here doing silly reels and talking nonsense and being idiots on social media, because they got to find another way to get revenue for their talent. And and I remember Tidal was, and I remember one time we were really pushing Tidal here because we were getting paid a little bit more, but not as good. And now the numbers are not even, they don't even differentiate anymore. So it's next on the chopping block, right? Netflix killed TV. The streaming platforms killed movies, along with COVID. COVID helped with that. Spotify killed music. And eventually, I think what's happening with these personal brands and these influencers, they're eventually going to kill Spotify because they're going to be like, hey, this is the way you can get my music. And we may go back to supporting your artist by buying their record somehow and getting their record, like the new Ramon album is going to be on vinyl. And I'm real pumped. Like, I've never had an album be on vinyl, but this new record's going to be on vinyl. And vinyl is a lot of people are going back to record players. If you looked in Target and Walmart, they're selling record players. It's crazy because people are going back to vinyl. And so that's a really big niche if you can get your music on vinyl, because that's what's happening. So my next record, it's going to be on vinyl, and I'm excited because first of all, it sounds familiar, incredible. The music's incredible, but if to be on vinyl, it's going to be fabulous. I even got a vinyl record player. My daughter got one, and so we love listening to it. I love listening to Taylor Swift on vinyl. It's almost like you put it on, and you're like, this is what it's meant to be. Now, people will I'll get emails and notifications. You listen to Taylor Swift, she worships the devil. Listen, okay, don't be an idiot. Don't be an idiot. All right, the music sounds great on vinyl. Yeah. So this and like there's a rap group called Black Star. Their old stuff is on Spotify, but if you want their new stuff, you got to go on their own personal website and you got to buy it straight from them and cut out the Spotify middleman. And that way you get the whole album. You can put it, in your iTunes, your iPod, your YouTube music, or, our phones now have crazy storage. We can listen to music all day on our phones. Don't need Spotify. It's just, if we can suffocate it, that's a lot of artists, but there's millions of artists who are getting little pieces of the puzzle for their art. And then here's the other thing. They like to push these numbers like they're gold, right? Look at your metrics, man. You have this many streams this year, and we're all celebrating. I'm just doing like this on my phone. When I see my homies post the end of the year report, like, has this many people stream my music? And I'll multiply it in 0.003 times 0.003. You made $21, right? I honestly, last year, one record made $500. I make more if you downloaded it on iTunes. Like, we still make more money if you take the music and you instead of support your artists and purchase their music on iTunes. Or what's crazy? I get more money, and $500 was just Spotify, and I'm not saying in general. What's funny? We talked last week or a couple weeks ago. I had my homie Christina on, and we talked about TikToks. I get more money for you putting my song on a TikTok video. It's crazy. I got a check a couple months ago, and I was like, what's this from? And they were like, from TikTok videos. I was like, what? What? We get paid from TikTok videos too? And I don't do TikTok videos, but there's TikTok music. And some people use my music on TikTok videos. One lady completely used one of my songs, and not even in the manner in which I made the song. I'm not even gonna tell you what the song was, because but she used one of my music in the striptease video. I got paid for it, and I get paid every time it gets streamed. So it's like there's other avenues to get your money in music industry, but I think the next thing on the chopping block is the organizations that we use, and then with AI being what it is, man. Like, I'm hearing what AI can do in the music industry. Like, bro, we're cooked as a society. Like, we're so cooked as a society. We watched a movie last night. We watched Tom Cruise's, hopefully, final Mission Impossible yesterday. And I'm watching this movie thinking to myself, I don't know how many movies we have to have where we pitch the narrative that AI is not the best idea. Like, how many times we have to do this where we're telling the world AI is not the best idea. And yet here we are, taking it further, seeing how much further we can do, seeing how much further we do. Like, the enemy of this movie was pretty much super powered AI. And I've played with AI, and many of you have too. I am shocked. Like, I'm blown away of some of the things that AI can do. Like, I saw a whole movie sequence, not even shot, no cameraman, no actors, all AI. I've seen pictures come to life. I've seen pictures where you're standing next to somebody and then the AI can make them kiss. I've seen that happen. And yeah, it was wonky at one point. It's not anymore. It's very real. It looks very real. And so in the movie, one of the problems, the battles was that a lot of people didn't know what they were knowing or experiencing. Was it real? Were they living in their reality or the AI's reality? And so, and who knows? Maybe, you know, I'm just spitballing. Maybe the AI is what the Holy Spirit is calling the Antichrist or things of that nature, because it is everywhere. It doesn't rest. It doesn't sleep. It creates realities. So, but man, what we knew for entertainment has changed. The game has seriously changed. We need to be alive. All my creatives, man, there is no better time than now. There is no better time than now to get your stuff heard, to get your stuff out there. The opportunities are there. And there's, like I said before, at one point, we thought resources were limited. You know, when you hear stuff like, oh, Mariah just made this deal to make this 10 album deal or this album deal worth $100 million. And we're like, wow. Dude, these people, Kai Cenat and Drewski and all these people that we don't know, that you don't know them, they're making $1 million a month. No special skills. No, for some of them, no college degree, no high school diploma, just ignorant kids playing with their phone and finding their niche. I don't know if it's niche or niche. Finding their niche and being consistent with it. That was it. Being consistent. And I'm hearing reports that people with no followers, I'm saying no followers. Like, I have a friend who has every post on social media has a maximum of 12 engagements. 12. Not 1,200, not 12,000, 12. I'm talking about, I'm the kind of person that if people want to be an influencer, I'm like, you ain't got followers. And this person swear to God, she making money with 12 engagements. She made $900 last week from posting on Facebook. I'm like, I don't post on Facebook a lot, but I post enough to get a check. If she is getting checks, Facebook owed me some checks, because I don't understand how she could get checks with 12 engagements. I got twice as many followers as her. That's how many followers she don't have, because I ain't got a lot of followers. I probably got 2,000. I got twice as many followers, twice as many engagement. Every post I make, every reel I make gets around 500 views. So I'm not killing the game. Anywhere between 250 to 500 views. Hers gets 12. I'm not kidding you. She can do whatever she wants. She been half naked. She been in a bikini. She been dressed up. She trying to be sexy. She trying to be bossy. 12. But, you know, I know her personally, and I never knew her to be a liar. So I believe her when she say, and you may think I'm gullible, but I believe her when she say, I make $900 a month on Facebook just for my posts. I'm like, from these 18 posts with 12, like I do one, like I did one 3 weeks ago, 500 views. And I still got, and it hit 500, it hit like 600 yesterday because it told me in notifications. So I don't know. My ex account, I tweet once a week. I tweet, off the same thread. I have a point and then I keep adding to that thread throughout the week. That engagement is like 50. TikTok, I don't even know my TikTok numbers. I don't know anything else. I know my Instagram and Facebook number or Meta numbers. So my point is, if she can do it, if she's making money, you can do it too, right? Life is short, bro. Life is short. It's not promised. My family's going through some hard times, and we are realizing life is not promised, right? We know the scripture says, with long life, you'll satisfy me. And I pray that Lord bless me with long life. But, habits, lifestyle, life choices, sleep, all those things affect life in the manner of how long you're going to live and how much life you're going to have. And, and sometimes you can do everything right and still life, you're not promised. You have this small amount of time to make something happen in your life. And just as quickly as it shows up, it can be taken. So you need to focus on what you need to do with the time you have left. Be thankful for what you got. If God's giving you an idea, if he's giving you a gifting, if he's giving you a leading, you owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself to follow that lift, that guiding to the end. We got to make the best of our life, the rest of our life, the best of our life. You got to make the rest of your life the best of your life. You owe it to yourself. Heritage Park, PROD.com is the website. Thank you guys for joining me on Epic Thoughts today. I pray you have a wonderful week. The year is half over. Let's get it going, guys. Let's go do it. Let's do it big this year. All right? Still got time. And as long as you still got breath in your lungs, you got time. Stop waiting for death. It'll come when it comes. Trust me. And no matter how you wait for it now, you don't want it when it shows up. So make the choice today to live. All right. God bless you guys. Have a great week. I will talk to you next week. Like, follow, and share. If you like the podcast, let them know. Let them know on Spotify. I don't even get 0.003% for this podcast. I don't know what I get for this podcast. I don't even know the numbers on my podcast. I don't even know my podcast makes numbers. I got to figure out how I'm getting paid. I should get paid somewhere. Somebody. Look, if homegirl in the bikini could get paid, and homegirl who, I shouldn't get too much, but my homies know. If homegirl could get paid, I should have been paid because I do 3 times her numbers. And I don't even do numbers. My numbers are whack because I'm not consistent like Tobe. Anyway, and go see, is it Mo? It's called Mo on Netflix. Featuring my dude, Tobe Nwigwe, and his wonderful wife, Fat. All right. God bless.